in New Orleans.
It pours.
It looks like it's a clogged
Yeah.
storm drain. Y'all just zoomed in on it a second ago.
Yeah.
That's the issue. You can see water is not draining through that catch basin right there.
It's a problem WDSU has covered extensively.
I mean, the amount of trash, there was beads in there, debris.
WDSU investigative reporter Cassie Sherm joins us in the studio, taking a deep dive into why catch basins are so difficult to manage right in the middle of hurricane season. Cassie?
That's right. I'm looking at how and what the city is doing to keep us above water, how a new agency is taking over plans to tackle the clog, and ask our leaders if we'll be ready if a storm hits this summer.
Right now, there's 72,000 catch basins across the city. The agency tasked with cleaning them, the Department of Public Works.
The first concern is the number of catch basins. It's a large number. Obviously, cleaning the catch basins is of the utmost importance. We need to keep the minor drainage system working. That's what DPW is responsible for.
It's a task that Rick Hathaway, director of DPW, says has been a challenge.
Staffing has always been an issue, keeping enough crews available out on the street, and then the associated equipment. We have 9 trucks right now. 4 are not operable. We only have 3 crews that are actually available to go out on the street.
WDSU Investigates was first to uncover $10 million that was given to the city to clean catch basins across New Orleans. But for 15 months, almost all of it sat unused.
A little bit of water in there.
Since our report, the city has ramped up the catch basin cleaning, spending more than $4 million and cleaning more than 4,000.
Once the contract is done, that will be over 6,000 catch basins will be done contractually. And with our average about 400 a month, we should meet our goal.
But in the middle of hurricane season, 65,000 basins are left untouched.
I feel like there's parts of the city that are prepared, like they're saying, but there's a lot of residential areas that are not prepared. I think there's a lot of people, if you ask, have not seen city workers working on their basins.
And Carnival crews have taken matters into their own hands.
How many are we actually going to be able to clean out today? I don't know, but making a small difference, and I think making a point and bringing awareness to the fact that this is something that we all need as a city to come together.
State lawmakers also taking action. The flow of responsibility goes to Sewage and Water Board starting January 1st.
72,000 catch basins, it's a big task. Do you think Sewage and Water Board's ready for it?
Absolutely. Other cities do it, and so can we.
Ghassan Korban, the head of Sewage and Water Board, admits it won't be easy.
We're going to be inheriting a backlog. Over 1,500 miles of pipe have really been, I want to say the word neglected. It hasn't been funded in any real way, so that really makes that task even harder.
DPW says they've removed more than 2 million pounds of trash from catch basins just this year. So imagine how much trash still sits in the thousands more that have still not been cleaned.
There's a lot of trash.
We're talking about years and years of sedimentation and collection of debris and silt and soil, and it just compacts, and it's just practically impossible for water to go through.
Sewage and Water Board is already working on a plan.
Have a 5-year cycle. So every year we would touch about 20% of the catch basins and the leads, become more preemptive or proactive than reactive.
The price tag of this goal?
About $20 to $25 million would allow us to be committed to that 20% on an annual basis.
It's a tall order as the agency sets their sights on doubling what DPW is attempting to do this year.
If they do, we'll deliver. If obviously not, if they give us less, we'll have to deliver less. I mean, it's just it's a matter of numbers.
And these traffic cameras will play a role. That's because if you get caught speeding and you have to pay a ticket, a portion of that ticket will go towards funding cleaning of these catch basins here. Another one we found filled with trash. Traffic tickets generate millions of dollars for the city every year, but that hope is going down the drain as the city has turned off those traffic cameras amid negotiations with the schools.
The cameras need to be turned on. The city should put the money into an account. And then as people figure out this is the amount that goes for the school board, this is the amount that goes to the city, this is the amount that goes to Sewage and Water Board, you iron out that detail. And again, we're now on day 5 or 6 of the cameras not being turned on, so it's not at this moment as you're missing a lot of revenue. But if you go to a month from now, 2 months from now, then you eventually are.
Do you think the city's going to be able to foot the bill for that kind of project?
Well, look, that's why the traffic cameras, again, are so important, because in my mind are we talking about $5 million or are we talking about $12 million? Sewage and Water Board is getting 4 vacuum trucks from the city. So I think cobbling together the pieces to get to close to 20 million, maybe even 25, won't be that big of a lift. But I always worry, given now what we've seen over the last couple of years of throwing too much money at any one agency or department.
Corbin says it's a step in the right direction.
Beginning of a very good intentional effort, because everybody now is acknowledging that it hasn't been done right, and now there's money, or at least effort to find the money to allow us to do it the right way.
But until it rains and drains, the people impacted most remain weary.
Wait and see. Gotta wait and see.
We're now less than 4 months away from the Sewage and Water Board catch basin takeover. That means time is ticking to get a plan in place for the funding.